Hello, in this video I'd like to introduce you to JEM, our easy to use carbon calculator for the travel trade. I'll be showing you how we can very easily, using this tool, measure and reduce the carbon footprint of your tours and travel products. Okay, so the first screen that we come to is the login screen. From here you can either create an account to become a member or sign in to your existing account. So this then takes you to the Measure a Tour screen. So this is where we enter the top level details of our tour. So I'm going to measure a 5-day tour of Scotland, and I'm going to call it that, 5-day. We're travelling this year. I'm going to say that there are 2 people travelling together. Number of days is 5 days, and I'm going to stay 5 days and 4 nights. Additional fields here that are optional, and this is really for internal notes or references if you've got a large portfolio of tours that you're measuring. So then you simply click on Measure My Tour and you're taken to this screen, and from here this is where we add all of the different components of our tour. So we're going to start with the Transport tab, and I'm going to say that on day 1 our couple have travelled from Luton Airport to Edinburgh. You'll see here that we're using an airport code API, so you can type in any international airport code and it will return a result here. I'm going to say that they took a return flight, that they flew economy class, and that they returned on day 5. And I simply add that to my tour, and you can see that it starts to compile all the elements of your tour here in this right hand summary box. I'd just like to draw your attention here to this little section where there's an inclusion of some digital activity. We by default include 6 emails and 2 hours of browsing time for every traveller. This allows some coverage for the digital footprint that is often overlooked when measuring products. Okay, so our couple have now arrived in Edinburgh and we'd like to get them to check into a hotel. So I'm going to say that on day 1 they checked into a UK hotel. If I knew the hotel name I would obviously enter it here, but I'm just going to say First Hotel. And the hotel that we've chosen is a 3 to 4 star standard hotel. They're going to stay in Edinburgh for 2 nights. They're going to share a room, so it's a room with a 2-person occupancy. They just need the 1 bedroom, and it's a standard room. Now here, if you've got a large tour with many people, what you can do is add the rooms here, and then you can include all the different occupancy levels that your tour group are using. And again, once you've added the details, you simply click on Add to My Tour. I've now clicked on the Food tab. I'm going to say on day 1 they enjoyed a little welcome drink on their arrival at the hotel, so I'm going to add that. I'm also going to say that as part of their hotel stay, so on day 2 and 3, they had a cooked breakfast, and that cooked breakfast included meat and dairy. Okay, so we now want to add some activities to our tour. So I'm going to click here on the Attractions tab, and I'm going to say that on day 1 they just rested. They've travelled all the way up, they're just chilling in their hotel. But on day 2 our couple want to go and explore Edinburgh. I'd like them to go and visit Edinburgh Castle. Now I'll just show you here, we've got a very simple scale in which at the moment we measure attractions. We are working with a number of suppliers. We ourselves are measuring some attractions, and lots of other people are beginning to gather data. As data improves, we will have a better, more comprehensive list of options. So I'm going to look down here and I'm going to choose the option that's most appropriate. And I can see here that a large museum or palace, so the Edinburgh Castle, is going to fall into this high category. So I am going to say that on day 2 they did a high attraction, and I'm going to say Edinburgh Castle. Add to my tour. Okay, on day 3 I'd like my couple to travel from Edinburgh to Glasgow by rail. So I'm going to return to the transport tab. I'm going to select rail travel, day 3. Now here we're using the Google Places API, so you can type in anywhere that you would typically type in into a Google search will be returned. And they're going to return on day 5. Add that to my tour. Okay, so once in Glasgow, again, they're going to need a hotel for 2 nights. Again, if you know that hotel name, you can enter it here. I'm just going to write second hotel. I'm going to say 2 nights, 2 people per room, 1 room, and again a standard hotel room. Add that to my tour. Once again, I'll quickly add, let's say for day 4 and 5, they will have a cooked breakfast at the hotel. Add that to my tour. Now you might want to go ahead and add a few attractions for our couple to visit whilst they're in Glasgow. So let's say that on day 3, our couple visit the Kelvin Grove Art Gallery and Museum. So we'll add that in for day 3. Okay, on day 4, let's say that our couple took a quick coach trip up to Loch Lomond. So I'm going to take us back to this transport tab. I'm going to select road travel. Day 4, 2 travellers from Glasgow to Loch Lomond. They're going to return on the same day. They're going to take a coach standard class. Okay, and we add that to our tour. Wonderful. Okay, so now you can see that in this right-hand summary, we've got all the elements of our tour. We can now click here and say save and view my itinerary. And from here we're taken to a summary screen where we can view the summary either by day or by service, and we can quickly scan down our tour and make sure that we've captured all the elements that we want to include. And you can see here that every element has the corresponding carbon footprint, always measured in kgs of CO2e. And we can see the total amount of our tour here at the top. So once we're happy and we're confident that we've caught all of the elements of our tour, we can click here to see the carbon footprint summary. This takes us to a report that you can export as a PDF should you need to share with any of your stakeholders. And you can see what it includes is the average per person footprint of this tour and the breakdown of all the elements that create an impact. So you can see here rather predictably our biggest impact is the air travel. Or you might want to create a copy of this tour and see what you can do to reduce the impact. You can do this by going to My Account, Tours, and here you'll see your tour at the top of the list. You can simply create a copy by clicking on Copy Tour. And I'm just going to rename this 5-day tour of Scotland, Greener. And click Measure My Tour. And what you'll see here is a complete duplicate of the tour that we just created. So now we're going to change a few elements and see what we can do to bring this top level figure down. So I think we can all see a quick win here. So let's see what happens if we delete the air travel. And replace that with a train from London to Edinburgh. So we are going to go to rail, and I'm going to say that on day 1 our 2 travellers are going to go from London to Edinburgh. They're going to return on day 5, but I'm going to say that on the way up they are going to take a sleeper train and that on day 5 on the return they are going to come back during the day. Add that to my tour. Now, because they've taken the sleeper train, I can now go and delete that first night in the hotel. And also modify the breakfasts because they now no longer need a breakfast on day 2. So I can remove that element. There we go, update my tour. Now we can see here that our total kgs of CO2e from our tour are significantly reduced. So once again, what I'm going to do is save and view my itinerary. I can of course go and view the carbon footprint summary and see that breakdown. You can see now that rail is the largest component of this tour. And if I return to my tours listing, I can see my 2 tours side by side. And I can see that by replacing the flights with rail travel, I have nearly halved the impact of that tour. Thank you for taking the time to watch this demonstration. Please do reach out to any member of the TerraVerde team if you have any questions or if you would like to arrange a demonstration of our tool. Thank you.